What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In day 5 of our free-to-play challenge, we are going to actually take a pause here and go back and actually re-clear some of the content we already did. I do think it's important to get all the dual color starter decks, as these cards not only give you more variety to level up through the Sparky rank, just in case you're not feeling maybe one of the decks you've already unlocked, but having these decks available are also going to boost up your overall collection, so then you don't have to worry about actually crafting these commons, uncommons, rares, and mythics that do come in these starter decks in your overall collection. As well as we're going to go back and actually complete the color challenges for the other colors we did not do, as at the end of every string of quests there in each color challenge, you are going to get some commons and uncommons, which could prove very valuable in the end, especially depending on where you are overall wildcard wise when it comes to actually crafting your first deck. I do think these two things are definitely very good, and might as well take that little bit of a break from grinding the quest immediately and then moving on through the quest. The one thing you may notice here is that I'm actually re-recording this intro. Something was wrong with the original intro, and that's why you may not see the actual new player quest at the bottom. So I'm re-recording this for the sake of just kind of going through that again, so you don't see the new player quest. My currency is probably a little bit differently throughout the journey, and this is just kind of a recording from the future. But with that being said, let's just dive into the games. I'm going to do my best to kind of show bits and pieces of certain things that I may find interesting. Other than that, sit back and enjoy, and we'll talk after. So after completing the color challenge, we did earn a bit of currency for our overall account. As you see here, we do have a total of 8,000 gold now from where we started earlier on in the video. We also have 10 commons, 5 uncommon wild cards, so we are slowly building that up. And I do think that was one of the reasons why I do think doing the color challenge before you build a deck and completing it is good, just to have those additional cards, just because these cards could be needed for certain cards we may not have immediately in our collection. After that, I do think another thing you want to do here before you even move on to finishing out your new player challenge is also doing the starter deck event overall, just because I do think the starter deck duels are another good way. I don't know if this is supposed to reset, but we did get lucky here, and our event reset after initially doing it at the beginning after we completed it the first time. I don't think it resets again, just because I did this and it only reset for me before on my other account when I did just trying to see what the new player challenge was all about. But getting these additional rewards and additional cosmetic is pretty sweet. We'll start the event up. I will take another quick look about what starter decks we still need to unlock. So we have the Arcane, we have Groen, and we have Rebel Army. So we need pretty much everything but those to finish out the starter deck duels. So we'll go into here, we'll click the event, starter deck duels. We'll hit start. We'll click our first deck. We have Arcane, so I think we'll just kind of go in alphabetical order. So we'll go Charging Head, Grave Secrets, High Flying Valor, Lords of Phyrexia, Savage, Scavengers, Scrapyard Sacrifice, and Sylvian Wisdom. So we are just gonna play through this. I'm not sure 100% how much of the gameplay I will keep in the video, but I will try my best to add as much gameplay in this, just to kind of give you an idea of how it went overall. Like I said, we'll probably only get 3 wins and get all the rewards, and then the other 4 wins we need to get with the starter decks will probably not get us anything outside of credit for wins on the day and also any sort of quest progress that we have available at our home screen. But we're going to dive in, kind of see how we do. So our opponent's going to go first. Our hand is... I wouldn't say it's great, but it could be better. We have 2 1-drops, so we definitely have a turn 1 play. We also have like a slowdown card slash, make that creature not be able to do anything kind of card, so definitely good there. But we'll keep. I do think we'll draw into better stuff. We have 4 lands, definitely good there. No tap lands, so that everything will be immediately playable. That's definitely a good card to have for this deck because that card is going to allow us to pump the team, which is definitely good. Later in the game, at least. And I guess our opponent's analyzing our survivor here. Maybe they're like, first striker. That's interesting. What do I do about that? So now they have their Cariad, which is, it's not really the strongest guy, but he'll get the job done. And then we'll just play another Cariad, or we'll play another survivor. So just in case they don't want to attack here, we can always block with the survivor. So this card's really good, and this is definitely going to be a great follow-up play. They use removal, it's fine. This is going to just pretty much help us grow the board, and I don't think the decks play too much in the way of enchantment removal, so this will just kind of sit out and pump the squad, make tokens, or give a creature we control on the battlefield an additional +1/+1 and fly-in. Sure. If they want to use removal on a card that's going to give us card advantage later, I'm perfectly happy with that. I would actually have waited till probably this turn, just because you wait and see what we got going on here. I'm just going to create a token and attack and slowly build up our board. Because our 1/1 soldier token, our 1/1 soldier token can block pretty much anything on their board. We have a card to deal with anything that gets bigger. So we're setting ourselves up for a pretty good turn. We have this 5-drop in our hand that we'll eventually get to. The Paratrooper we don't need to expose just yet, just because they do play that kind of like target removal. So if they're going to play that on creatures, we don't want to put the 1/2 on the battlefield to possibly die. That's fine. I'll go no block. I'm not worried yet again. This is a solid card to play, just because this will just help us grow our squad. We'll do this card, and we'll also do this card, and we'll just attack in here, because now our 3/3 in the air will help out. And we don't have to physically attack them with the 3/3. The 3/3 is a great blocker. And yet again, if they want to use removal, it's better that they use removal now instead of later. And we'll get a token out of it. I mean, if they want to use additional removal, we're going to get tokens. And then this is their whole turn. Sure. We'll block. And now we have the card that kind of helps us out overall. Now the real question is, which one? It's a soldier token. So now we'll do this one, and then we will make a soldier in our hand, perpetually get +1/+1 and vigilance. And we'll get rid of this. We'll pump that guy up, and we'll give this guy +1/+1. And do we get a soldier whenever another... No, nope, this is not the one. That's the blue one that draws cards, gets a soldier whenever it attacks. So we'll just sit back. We're not under any pressure. They can get a decent attack in the air, but if they do that, then they're open to a decent attack, and they didn't spend their mana to progress the board state. We can get a flyer next turn, so we're good there too. Sure. And our opponent's going to try to invest to try to get a big attack in. So one thing to note, I would have done this at instant speed instead of do what they do. Also, they weirdly invest in mana. So we'll just take it. They could have had a combat trick. Not really sure what was going on there. We'll play this guy. And then basically give this guy flying. See, they have a combat trick that they have to play now or they can't do anything about it. We'll give this +1/+1 and flying. We'll give that a little counter, and then we're good. And we'll just kind of sit back. Now we have a decent blocker against their big guy. And if that flyer doesn't die, then we're pretty good there. Sure. So the one thing is, if they decide to do what they're doing right now, right? It's going to die. I'll block. I know. I'll take the trade if you want to trade. They have a fight spell. It's kind of weird, but okay. Whatever they decide to do here, I'm perfectly happy with. And then we'll just kind of play a flyer. We'll buff the Lord. We'll make a token. We'll add a counter. And we'll just attack him for 5. Just in case they have some sort of way to give the guy trample. Want to make sure we're not dead on the swing back. Sure. Little late, but you know, it's not bad. I think we got most of what we wanted out of that card anyway. We'll gain a little bit of life. We will target this. We'll get rid of the land. We don't need the land. We'll put the flyer here. We'll attack in. They want to block, they can block. It's up to them. I also think I could have killed them, I just realized, because they only have 1 blocker. So we'll give them an extra turn. If I would have attacked everything, they could only block a 5/5, and they would still take 13, or 16, I think, was the math I did. Sure. They're going to destroy the enchantment we put on their creature. Good game. Yay, we did a thing. On the play, hand is it's all right. You know, it's not too good, not too bad, but it's not bad. We'll start out with the dual land. We have removal, which is definitely solid. Person seems very friendly. They're playing soldiers, which could be a problem, but I don't think it's a big deal. We're going to wait to see what they play this turn, just because Go for the Throat's going to be very good on the additional attack, or the additional card. And we have a lot of good ways to interact with their battlefield. So they're going to pass. Sure. Going to play dual land. And they're going to pass. So we'll just get rid of the creature. And because at that point, we were kind of waiting to see if there was going to be a follow-up play. But there wasn't. So we'll just kind of do our thing. We'll do this, and we'll attack. They're not going to block because they want this to grow. Sure. But the good thing about this is that they're not progressing their board. And they're only dealing 2, so I'm perfectly happy with that exchange. Yet again, we'll do this. We'll play a 2-3. Still very good here. We'll take the card. It still blocks very well. We'll attack him for 4. We're definitely doing much better than them on the board state. And we can now play this slowly, which is going to be very big for us because we can just exile stuff. No, it's a 2-3. We'll see if they want to attack or block here. If they do, that's pretty awesome for us. It makes our removal much better. But I think I still continue to push the board state because this will become very good. I can chump block with our Gigamole. I'm not really worried about that. Sure. We'll block 6, take 5. Now, the weird part is our opponent did kind of leave themselves open for a possible attack. Like a possible attack on the way back. So that is kind of strange. We do have a free attack with this. And then we'll get this. No creatures. Next. They both have Menace. So I could have actually won. I didn't realize I had the victory. So hopefully that doesn't punish us later. But I think we're still okay. Because we have a decent board here, and we have 2 blocks plus an exile spell that our opponent may not suspect. Not sure what they could have overall. And we'll just end turn. Pass. So the real question is, what does our opponent have? Because I assume they're just going to jam. Which we'll just kind of go here and here. And we'll take 2. So unless they have some crazy play that they can pump their card so that they can deal the rest of the damage, we have a Menace that will essentially give them the victory. And we'll just exile the creature they're targeting with a spell. Sure. Doesn't have anything. You get your land. And we mill 4 cards. So our opponent's going to go first. Our hand is kind of lopsided here, right? We have 3 black lands, we have a red spell, and we have removal. But we don't have anything to go with that, so I do think that's a mulligan. This hand's definitely much better. It's kind of awkward that we drew 3 of the same cards, but we just actually drew our colors, so we're going to get rid of an extra Power Stone Fracture. I think that's the play. We are able to cast that on turn 1 at taking 1 point of damage. We have additional ways of taking care of this. Seems like we're against a soldier deck, which is not bad for us because I believe the deck has a decent amount of recursion that we can deal with what they may play here. And more than likely, our opponent won't attack in this position because that doesn't seem like a very good attack for them, which exactly happened. And we'll autopay again. Kind of not doing so hot on the overall colors here with what we need. It seems our opponent's also drawn heavy into mono white, even though there is a blue white deck. Sure. The scry is definitely going to be helpful for them. Getting rid of this officer is definitely going to be good for us because this will help them dig deeper and find answers. But I would take that trade either way. I am going to wait. So we'll kind of see what they do here. No attacks. There's a possibility that they were holding out on the blue mana to maybe then cast their Lord. So it is very good to have ways of dealing with things with that Final Flourish can't deal with. They have their Beachhead. That's fine. And then they attack. So we'll block here. No, we'll block here. And then we'll just Final Flourish here. And we'll take 1. And then this will trade. Or it won't trade. And then we're pretty much sitting good. And we'll say go. We don't need to attack. And then we still have Final Flourish. They're going to scry, so they need answers. The Ashnod is not really here for its effect. It's mostly just a 1-mana, 1/1 Death Toucher. I feel like a lot of people play it for. It's not really for that whole, if it attacks, it does stuff. They're going to scry too. We'll just get rid of their big creature. They don't need that. It has Unearth, but I'm not really worried about it. We got our nice little dragon engine here now. And then we'll attack him for 1 because we have decent blocks here. Double strike is definitely good. Sure. Gonna put a 1/1 counter on something. There's no good attacks. Has double strike. My guy has double strike. Doesn't have first strike. Sometimes people make those mistakes. It happens. In this position, we are going to target this. We'll sacrifice this. Gets rid of their thing. Gets rid of the creatures in the way. We'll attack in for 5. And we'll take 1 point of damage to now play our 1/2 again. So we have good blockers for their Unearthed creature, because that's a possibility of what they could do this turn. I mean, what are the possibilities that I actually have? Sure. Block. We'll play our tap land. We'll swing in. Sure. And they're just at this point, just not trying to die. Gain a life. They're up to 15 again. Create 4 artifact creature tokens. Still fine. We'll put that back in our hands because we can do that anytime. We'll attack in here. If they want to block, be my guest. And we'll just play a 3-4. I could have played that during combat, but it is what it is. That's fine. Each player creates a treasure if a source would do damage to a player or battle this turn. No, they have to sacrifice. And that's a sorcery. I thought it was an instant. So there's my misplay. I think I've had 2 so far. I didn't realize Rankle had haste. So I did that a little bit backwards. Sure. You can attack him for 2. Or not. Sacrifice. Their board slowly withering away. We'll do this. And we'll do this. And that's our turn. So we'll see what our opponent does. They get a land. They're going to scry. I think they missed the scry last turn at the end of my turn. I don't think it's the sorcery, so they could have. And our opponent's just going to scoop, even though they saw the top 2. And they kept the top 2. So definitely kind of a unique. Opponent's going first. I think hand's all right. It's got playables. I think it's got better playables in the last game. Just because we have a removal spell. Hopefully draw like an early drop, I think is the only thing. Because everything else is like turn 3 and turn 4. So that would be the only struggle with this. So if our opponent's not off to a quick start. But they could be. Alright, this is that deck that is like the recursion deck. That's actually not a bad top deck. Having a 2-2 on 2 is going to be good. Which then should lead into some things. It does look like our opponent has some sort of spell they can cast. But I might as well let them cast, play into it, because I feel like that will take away from whatever they're trying to do. I'm not sure 100% what it would be. If they have removal for 1, that's definitely solid. But I don't think that's what the spell is. That card's fine. Sure, they get their free 1 point of damage. We'll kill one. Tree is a good card, but it's not a card we want to see this turn. No attacks, because we don't have any good attacks. All right, they're going to return their card back to their hand, which is good for us. I don't think they attack. Or do. I'll take that block all day. Just because I feel like we have better blocks. They want a double block. That is exactly what I was looking for them to do. And we'll just have that deal 2 there. And we get rid of both creatures, and our creatures on the battlefield. So then they have to return, recur. Sure. It's a 4-1. Nothing too crazy. I think we play this. And then we'll just bite down again. And then every single creature we play from here on out gets much better with the tribute. I mean, there was also a possibility that we could have played like the guide to get some scries, but we wouldn't have been able to have a good attack. I think as long as we clog the board up, we're perfectly fine. Sure. Then this is like a turn that you would double scry. Right? Because then we'll get the draw. We'll take the lookout. Because it helps us. Draw a card. No text. And now our board's starting to grow. And now we're trying to get... We're getting a little too big. I mean, even if they get rid of the Undamel or whatever it is, we still have very good plays because we can keep on playing our cards from our hand and drawing cards out of it. And like the Cellarborn is definitely very good. Sure. Oh no. They did it wrong. They targeted their own creature instead of... Oof. Oh no, they messed up. I feel bad now. Because I do think that's an easy misplay that you could do. We're just going to attack in. Deal 3. End turn. This is going to be pretty much a card draw at the end of their turn. Yeah, so sometimes those cards that do those things are a little awkward. It like tells you to pick a target, then you pick where you want to sacrifice. Though I do think the game yells at you if you don't do that. Like if you go ahead and if you go ahead and select one of your things, it's like, are you sure you want to do that? And it says to click yes, so maybe they didn't pay attention to what that was. Sure. Land. Untap land. Darn. We'll get rid of their biggest thing. I'll take the land. We'll spread the wealth. And then we'll just attack all. This is all. So keep it. We'll pump this card so then they can't double block that one. I mean, if they have removal, they have removal. But I'm not going to sweat it. Sure. And then you're taking a lot. And end turn. So I'm not sure what they have for 1 mana that they've been sitting on, because it's been multiple turns in a row. But they have to deal with his board or it's going to get out of hand. It's fine. Sure. Do we have a follow-up is the question. You can't do that effect this turn because you'll have 1 less blocker. You know, I realized I probably could have done that a little bit differently. Sure. Might as well play my whole hand. And see how our opponent deals with the board state. Don't need that. Put a counter here. That's fine. Put a counter here. And then all the scry triggers are resolved, and now they have to decide how they want to block. Sure. And now we have a combat trick? Because I feel like they've been sitting on whatever this combat trick is the whole game. Sure. They still take 12. Nice. So we got the victory, though I do think our opponent did make a misplay. I don't know if that misplay would have helped them, but it would definitely would have not allowed our creatures to grow as big. And now, if we go into our decks to check out what we got going on here, we should have all 10 of the dual color starter decks, and then all 5 of the color challenge decks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 5. So we have a total of 15 total decks. We've added all those cards into our collection, which is definitely very good. And now I do think this is a good time to start now progressing the Sparky rank, as after we complete these 2 tiers, we then eventually get ourselves into the actual rank ladder, play queue. Technically, as much as it says this stuff is available, it's not technically available until you get yourself through the Sparky rank. It's just kind of weird. I think it's just a weird glitch that they have in the game at the moment, because if you look here, this is not how this would show up overall. It says like English Act 1 War Lore Event Momir, which is not anything that I'm aware of. But with that being said, we're going to start doing that in the next video. I do hopefully think that you guys are enjoying these videos. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As we start getting closer and closer to figuring out what kind of deck we want to build, I'd love to hear your suggestions overall. We'll take a look after we're done with all our currency, what we really have available. I still have all my packs to open up that I've been collecting since I started the account. We do have a total of 10 Wilds of Eldraina packs all the way back to Brothers War. There are still the pack codes I have to enter in to get those additional packs that were before the mail system became a thing. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like the video, hit that like button. It definitely helps out a lot. If you're new here, want to follow the series, hit that subscribe button. But until next time, I'll see you in the next video.